From all introduction videos I've made so far, this can probably be the most important one. And that's why I have even made myself pretty for that. And I have put on makeup, and I have put on one of my last pieces of jewelry that I have made myself. It's called Wild Magic. You can still buy it. Uh, and This video is about the question, who owns the earth? Because the whole theme is owning nothing and being happy. What is planned for humanity by some people? We know also who they are. And if you don't know, you can text me. Yeah, put a comment in the comment section and ask me. I will tell you more. And today I want to talk about the question of where did humanity go wrong, and why are we now in a situation where we can correct it? And the majority of human beings, and uh, and if it is not the majority in numbers, it's the majority in power, in war power, in weapon power, in manpower, are following the patriarchal monotheistic religions, and they all have one thing in common. The three of them, I mean, I'm talking about Judaism, where it starts, and then Christianity, and then the youngest is Islam. So I have been brought up Christian. That's my foundation. And so let's look at the foundation of our faith. And I'm looking here at Genesis 1:28. And it reads in the International New Bible Version, God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground. And there are in Genesis, I should probably read the whole Genesis because it's so interesting. It's totally different from the Adam and Eve story that comes directly after Genesis 1, I think, where it's always talks about ruling and subduing. Now, the earth looks so subdued, so so fracked, and right now, that many people are afraid she is going to die. I don't think this is going to happen. But I think if we do not change our course, a lot of us will die. And this is actually planned. And a lot of people are agreeing with that, even though very subconsciously. A lot of people who even call themselves liberal and progressive and, pro-human rights, uh, um, uh, think that there are too many human beings living on the planet, and that's why the planet is suffering. And so many human beings also think about then which kind of human beings should not live for the planet to be better. And that's a very, very dangerous thought. And so I had, because of this subdue thing, I mean, who wants to be subdued? I don't like to be subdued at all. I have not seen any creature who likes that. Um, because of this subdue thing, I have rejected. For the longest time, I have rejected every monotheistic patriarchal religion. But what I have not rejected was the culture. I love Islamic culture for its beauty, and there's so much wisdom in it. I have yes, and but for the longest time I have rejected all this, and what has actually um, what has what has was the peacemaker between Christianity and me was actually the books by Vladimir Maigret, the Ringing Cedars of Russia series, the Anastasia teachings, um, where this lady that allegedly lives in Siberia owns absolutely nothing, not even a pot to make tea inside. He describes it very nicely, this Vladimir Maigret. Um, and she has, quote unquote, subdued the nature around her, that everything serves her and serves her with love. So you got to read this, or if your eyesight is leaving you, like my eyesight is leaving me, you can listen to it. There are audiobooks, and it's very, very interesting. Even if it is nothing but a incredibly beautiful and interesting propaganda story for patriotism, which I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the story is right or wrong or not. But um, it talks about a way of ruling over the nature and subduing earth with love. And that is so interesting. Now, I had asked the question, who owns the earth? Like Bill Gates, the Rockefellers, Mark Zuckerberg, what's his name? Musk? Elon Musk, or as I have spoken about in a video I just made about the new moon, uh, the what is said in the Sermon of the Mount. I said in the Sermon of the Hill. No, it's in the Sermon of the Mount. I should be able to also read it to you. I can't, but it is said, "The meek shall inherit the earth." Now we have learned from the tribal, so-called tribal culture, earth cannot be owned. I mean, can you own your mother? Uh, Probably. There are societies where all women are more or less, have been more or less the slaves of men. So probably, yes, yes. But are you expecting your mother to serve you well when you constantly hurt her, exploit her, steal from her, deplete her, sicken her, poison her? So what do you expect? Sooner or later, no more. So this is a situation I think we are right now in. And what I found very, very comforting is the fact that the incredible callousness and cruelty that comes from those who are now hailing artificial intelligence, the whole hidden, camouflaged eugenics, how through the back door euthanasia is made popular again. Yeah, there are certain people that they please should commit suicide. because they're just not productive enough. They are then regarded like parasites. People like me, for instance, people who are old, people who are handicapped, people who are blind, da 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 da. People who are not playing the money game properly. But I don't want to talk about this because I actually want to talk about the great hope and not the hopium. I do not want to talk about the hopium, but I want to talk about probably something that is very, very difficult to talk about. And what I want to talk about is the tremendous support, the amount of incredible little, not so big, but little miracles, synchronicities, accidents that happen when one owns nothing. It is amazing to go back to very simple truths that we have already learned in Sunday school. There is another passage that says, "Go for the kingdom of God, and everything else will be given." Yeah, uh, uh, and also I want to remind all my dear, beautiful New Age friends that one of the greatest weaknesses of the religious and spiritual culture of the people living in the realm and under the culture of the US of A is materialism. And the idea that in God we trust, that God is awarding us with money, that and so a lot of people think, oh, if somebody is not able to manifest in quotation marks, this is about manifestation, so, since we had movies like The Secret, and so it's about manifestation. So if you're not able to manifest like let's put it this way, uh, uh, white flawless teeth, or beautiful clothes, or if you're not able to have that, that shows you're not spiritual enough. Nobody's going to believe you. Now I want to remind you that in a lot of spiritual traditions around the world, the learning process was going through owning nothing. It was going through the state of pilgrimage. And in the old European craft tradition, and I'm talking now real the handwork, I'm not talking about magic, quote unquote, I'm talking about real craft. It was organized very strictly. And you had, after 3 years of apprenticeship, you had you had at least 3 years of being, I think, I don't know how to really pronounce this well. Yeoman is it's spelled like Jeoman, Yeoman, something like that. But that meant you now have finished your apprenticeship, and now you are going to hike, to walk around, or maybe hitchhike. Uh, uh, from master to master, so that you learn different ways of doing different things in different locations. And I'm very, very proud of of two of my ancestors from my father's mother's side. Um, they were um, they were silversmiths, and one of them hiked between Paris and St. Petersburg. That's a long walk, and learned. And they made beautiful, beautiful work for Protestant churches. And there was one time was a great, great disappointment for my father, who found all kind of very, very beautiful crystal, colorful crystal stones, and thought he's now becoming a millionaire. But it was all very well made glass, because the Protestant churches, they couldn't afford anything else. But the craftsmanship was amazing. So the walking, which, and just carrying what, not just owning what you carry, that was your tools that you had to carry. Um, uh, Probably some of your tools, but everything else you have to, get on your journey. And this is also a part of a pilgrimage journey. So please, my dear friends who are so judgmental and always have an idea of who is supposed to be spiritual and who's not, uh, keep that in mind. And uh, we have to continue thinking about and talking about who owns the earth. And that is very well described in the books of Vladimir Megre. I would greatly recommend them. So much for now, and that is an ongoing story. I cannot tell you all at once.